Thank you for tuning in. I am your host, Dr. Raquel Leah, and our sponsor for the next 9 episodes of Day Diary is the BGC series. You can find that series at CIDFUND.org. That's sidfund.org. So, where we left off, we talked about good therapy. I mentioned it at the very end, and some strategies and approaches to healthy legislation laws that govern your state and your county. So, an approach to good therapy is being kind to yourself. One of the things I want you to deal with are the feelings of remorse. Everybody's going to have some level of remorse about the fallout of not having a conversation with your teens, your youth, your children, your grandchildren, your legacies. And there's walls that are built up to prevent you from doing that. And anytime you try to penetrate it, you'll find that you can't. It's too much time, too many hurt wounds, all of that. One of the ways that I believe that you can be good to yourself is start to challenge yourself with what you've done good and what you've done bad. We have to have a reckoning as parents that our children are going to be critical of us when they are adults. Now, I don't mean that I don't mean that they're right. Let me just tell you that. I will not say that they're right. I will never say that, hey, a kid was right to judge you regarding your parenting. Well, I won't say never. I'll just say that there's always a silver lining of how things were handled. There's always a different perspective. And as parents, you have decisions to make in the environment that you rear your children in. And as your children get older, they are judging you based on their new millennially environment. They're judging what you did 20 and 30 years ago. And they're going to do it. Sorry, they're going to do it. And they're going to have some critical, crappy things to say. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that that's happening to you. I'm sorry that that happens to me from time to time. And I'm sorry that you have to have those conversations with your children. And there was a lady named, well, I forgot the author's name, and so I can't think of it. But she printed a book regarding the sexual assault of her and her sister in their own home. And she said that the family was not willing to talk to her about it. She felt like she was the black sheep anyway, and she needed to talk. She needed to learn from others. She needed to find out if she was the only one that went through this. And so she put the book out there. She had gone through therapy. Things were broken. Her family members called her liars. They didn't like the things that she said. They set up these barriers so that she didn't have full access to other family members. And then some of her children kind of went and sided with some in-laws. It was just a hot mess, and she was heartbroken. And every time she tried to crawl out from under these bricks, someone got 10 more to make sure she did not have a voice. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. And so this show is to prepare you for that. And the way you prepare for that is by doing homework for yourself in good therapy, finding some modes and some avenues where you begin to appreciate yourself and some of the decisions you made and some of the actions that you made. You begin to do the work and hone in on the who, what, when, where, whys. Maybe you just had bad parenting because you were only 14. Maybe the people that helped you parent were horrible people. I don't know. Maybe you had a silver spoon and you went off to college and left your child there to be reared by grandparents and parents, and you never know. You never. I've heard a lot. But in good parenting, you have to communicate, you have to research, and then you have to talk. And one of the ways to do that, you can do it in a group therapy setting. You can do it by listening in to the show, by chatting, but you've got to give yourself good therapy because you've got to have an appreciation for where you are. Begin to love on yourself. The case study that I just shared with you, I think she still does not have the ideal relationship that she wanted. She still feels ostracized. This book publication came out and was on the national bestsellers list, I think about 15 years ago. And she kind of suffers from it. But she's over it, and she's managed it, and she's moved on. And we want to help you with those good therapy mechanisms and tools so that you do the same thing, so that you're accountable to some things you've done right, and you're accountable to some things you've done wrong. The only way to do that is to start the recovery process and the good therapy process and beginning to just love your space. I'm Dr. Raquel Leah. You're listening to Healthy Families First.
So this is where our journey must end. And saying good evening and goodbye to you today does not mean that you don't get another opportunity to impact your generations, legislation, and effective change in your kinship and relationship with your child or your children. And as always, the vision of our broadcast is incomplex, that you consider, catch, check out, and cradle simple approaches to parenting and communication. And we are here to help support. And in kind, your generosity helps parents liberties and freedoms from constraint to guide and parent their children and grandchildren in safe and healthy places. Won't you become a patron today? Visit our supporters page at patreon.com/healthyfamiliesfirst. As a nonprofit doing the most good, the Breaking Generational Curses series and Healthy Families First is promoting healthy parent-child relationships when there is a kinship split. No communication, no awareness, no occasional meetings, no nothing. And our intent is an information hub for parents to approach healing and recovery in safe spaces. Our broadcast will be featured in 47 countries and all USA podcast panels. Stay tuned for an open call to beta testers, listeners, sign-ups, and support. And again, thank you for listening. Visit CIDFUND.org. That's sidfund.org.